Now, you may want to do this occasionally with CSS files in your theme, because you may want to include an extra theme CSS file. If you go to plugins URL in the codex, at the bottom it says related, and it shows you all the different functions you can use to get different places. So there's your theme URL, works very similarly. There's your content URL, your includes, admin, site, home URL. The WP upload dir, that's particularly handy because that gets moved all over the place. If you ever do a plugin for release that needs to put stuff in the uploads directory, use this function because that can be anywhere. Related to plugins URL, there are several other ones that help you find something you want in the plugins folder. So now, let's go back and find all of those JavaScript ones that I didn't want because they were just JavaScript. And we're not going to code this in. We're just going to go over the code because it's so similar. There's WP register script, just like the CSS one. You tell it where it is. Oh, cache busting. This tells you how to change your version number. So there's register script. You give it a handle. There's your plugins URL, JS, custom file, JS, blah, blah, blah. All exactly the same. Then you enqueue script, just like your CSS. Your action is WP enqueue scripts instead of WP enqueue styles. Other than that, everything is exactly the same. But like I mentioned earlier, dependencies matter a whole lot more with JavaScript. Make sure that if you are including a file that requires jQuery, that you test to make sure jQuery is there. And just by putting it in the dependency file, or a dependency spot. You'll run into this often with jQuery plugins. There are a fair number of plugins that have interdependencies. Like I'll release a plugin that's in 2 files, say for a slider or something. And you'll have the core slider functionality, but then you'll have another one that gives you different attributes for your slider or something. And so you'll want to make sure jQuery is there on your core slider plugin, and then you want to make sure your core slider plugin is there on your features plugin for it, or whatever. So here's an example. WP register script, there's the custom script, there's the path to it, and then array jQuery to say jQuery is required. The cache in this case is particularly important. If you include your CSS or JavaScript by just writing in a link tag somewhere or hacking it into WP head, then it does not get cached by WordPress. It might get cached by the browser, which is better than nothing. But when you enqueue it properly, it gets cached by WordPress, and it just gets out the door from your server that much faster, which is really good stuff.